Buying any home or property can feel super overwhelming, especially the first time you're buying one. There are so many choices, there's hundreds of components, and lots of options as far as where you want to be, what type of house, how big, how small, how many bedrooms, how many garages, the lot size. There's all sorts of things, view or not, and weighing whether it's a good investment. It might be a great investment, but not a place you want to live, or a fabulous place that you love and you want to live, but it's not a great investment to build equity for you. So we want to find a balance between those. That's what we're talking about today in a 5-step process to whittle things down and help you understand the things you should be focusing on so you don't get overwhelmed in this process. This process is all about you, and there's no right or wrong. It's all about your needs, your goals, your priorities. Those are different for every client. So I ask a lot of questions up front to make things very clear for people so they can get a clear picture for what type of lifestyle they want and where they want to be and how they want their life to feel every day. Because I'm not paying the mortgage and I'm not buying this property. You are. There's nothing wrong with asking about people's opinions as well, but you'll get about 2,000 of those, from about 10 people. If you ask, where they think you should be, whether it's an older neighborhood with more established landscaping and kind of longevity, or a newer neighborhood, there's nothing like living in a brand new house, there's no question. And those also come in master plan communities that have a lot more amenities than some of the older neighborhoods. There are over 100 communities and neighborhoods and kind of locales and sub-communities within the Colorado Springs area along the Pikes Peak Front Range where you can choose from, and I'll help whittle those down for you and just kind of summarize a little bit. It's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis, and we want to cut through the noise and narrow things down for what's right for you. The first step is to narrow down your budget and be really honest with yourself, because it's a total waste of everybody's time, including yours, to look at properties that aren't within your budget. Most people are not paying cash for a property, they're utilizing a mortgage loan, so pre-approval from a fabulous lender, not just any lender, but somebody who's wholehearted like I am, who will serve you with integrity, who doesn't do smoke and mirrors up front or make it like a used car lot where they make it look like they have a bunch of rates or things that they offer, but they really don't. When you get down at the small print, you don't want somebody who plays games. We want to get you pre-approved with a mortgage broker or lender who knows what they're doing and can close successfully and ask you the right questions and get the right documentation so we understand what you're approved for. Now, here's the thing. Most people are approved for a higher mortgage loan or a higher dollar purchase price than they want to spend. You might think it's great that I'm approved for a $700,000 purchase, but I don't want to make the payments on a $700,000 loan, depending on how much you're putting down as far as money. So usually pre-approval amount is not the crux. It's a matter of cash flow and budget for you and how much you want to pay on a monthly basis. But we need to attain your maximum purchase price, not to push your budget or say that you have to spend that much. It's just good to know, okay, if we found something that we fall in love with and it's totally awesome, we could spend this. And so we can narrow that down as far as where and what properties you're going to look for and what neighborhoods and what type of properties within the budget that you can afford. It's also not just about the mortgage payment itself. It's called PITI, Principal, Interest, Tax, and Insurance. There are additional fees that you're going to owe on a monthly basis and reserves that you have to have in order to maintain a mortgage. So we're looking at the total price, not just the mortgage payment itself. We got to look at your total budget on a monthly basis, which again, there's no right or wrong. It's your budget and your priorities, but we want to have that big picture as we're looking about your monthly payment as far as narrowing and working that backward toward a purchase price that's going to be sustainable and affordable for you. Budget is usually the first thing and the necessary step that's going to dramatically narrow and restrict the geographical area within which you'll be able to afford a property. There's lots of places where I would love to live where the houses start at $2 million. And so it's important to narrow that down right up front. So again, we're not looking at properties, or I'm sending you properties in areas where it's like, well, great, those are gorgeous, but that's not something I can afford. And again, there's no right or wrong where if it's geographical preference. You may be a hiker, an outdoors person, you may have ATVs, you want to be on the west side of Colorado Springs, you're closer to Woodland Park, Divide, Florissant, you want to be able to get up on the mountains real quickly, or hiking trails that are accessible. I'm a hiker and a mountaineer, so I love that and totally respect that. You may not have any interest in doing much outdoors and you want to be closer to downtown or old Colorado Springs. Or you may have no interest at all in any of that and you want to have a couple cows at some point and a couple goats and you want to go out east, i.e. Peyton or further out east, in order to have ranch or acreage land. So it just totally depends on what your priorities are as far as where you want to be. Once we narrow down geographics a little bit as far as price, the second step in this process is commute and mobility. Your commute can make or break and dictate your entire flavor of kind of pace of life. Average commute in Colorado Springs is about 24 minutes. But that includes suburbs, north, south, east, west, and depends on where you are within the Springs. But it can vary greatly, especially if you're in the military. We have 5 military bases in Colorado Springs, so it just totally depends on where you work. Or if you want to be on the north side of town, where you're more commutable to the tech center, or the south side of Denver, up north of Castle Rock, just totally depends on where you want to be based on how much driving you want to do and what you want to be close to. I can help you draw a radius and contrast that with drive times so you can understand if you want to be within a certain time frame or a certain distance or a certain distance of certain amenities that you do all the time. If you want to be, 3 minutes from Costco is different than being, 25 minutes from Schriever, one of the military bases. So it just totally depends on where you're going regularly and what you want access to, whether you want to walk, bike, or drive to those places to have those amenities available to you, as well as restaurants. Where do you eat? Where do you get entertainment? Do you want to go to a trampoline place? Do you want to be 2 minutes from Target? Is it important for you to be close to other amenities and other entertainment? All those things that need to be considered. We also have some incredible outdoor recreation spaces right within town, such as Palmer Park or Red Rocks Open Space, Garden of the Gods, which is a free, unbelievable, world-class park that's right in Colorado Springs. And as we calculate drive time and amenities, remember to look at the specific time of day. We're not like Denver or Seattle or LA or larger cities that have killer traffic, but traffic is getting worse and worse, they would say, in Colorado Springs as we increase. Greater Colorado Springs and El Paso County has about 900,000 people population. Colorado Springs proper is just over 500,000 people. So it's one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. Thousands and thousands of homes are being built and thousands of people are moving here because we have more sunshine actually than Southern California. It's not as warm, but we actually have more days of sun than San Diego in Colorado Springs. It's a very populous city and it's one of the most desirable places to live in the entire United States. And a shorter commute and living close to the things that you're doing on a regular basis means more relational time, more family time, more quality time in your own life and time for hobbies. It's a big deal to consider where you want to be geographically. The third thing to consider is the lifestyle litmus test. Reference where you want to be and again, what you want your life to feel like. Do you want to bike or use an e-bike or walk, places? Or do you don't mind having or being a little more rural and having a little more space and using your car more often to get to or from town? If you want to be within walking, biking, or scooter distance to amenities such as coffee shops and restaurants and that type of thing, it's very different than being out of town and being further away from those places. No right or wrong, it's just about where you want to be. There are communities on the northeast side of town like Wolf Ranch, which is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Colorado Springs. The grass is beautiful, the walking trails are gorgeous, the amenities, the parks are beautiful. If you want a walkable neighborhood, now that's within, depending on the price range that you're looking at. That's one example, including Cordera, Banning Lewis. There's lots of neighborhood and growth on the kind of mid to north side of town and stretching out toward the east, toward Falcon or Peyton. You have Woodman Hills, you have Meridian Ranch. There are huge planned communities with thousands and thousands of homes, including recreation centers with pools and workout equipment and all sorts of other amenities. So you just need to decide how close and if you want access to those things, because those also come to a monthly cost. There's homeowners associations and metro district fees that you need to pay. If you're not within the city of Colorado Springs as well, you need to pay for having the access to those utilities and those amenities. Do you want quiet, mature, tree-lined streets with huge oak trees and ambiance like that in neighborhoods, which is more like downtown or the north side of downtown? Or are you looking for a newer neighborhood that has not as much mature foliage, but more amenities? The fourth thing to consider is future-proofing this investment. And what I mean by that is determining how long you intend to be there. Life can change, things can happen, so we want to be prepared. You may think you're going to be in a place for 30 years because you have a 30-year mortgage, but the vast majority of people don't stay nearly that long in a property. With the military, 3, 4, 5 years is super common. Reference an average time to move and buy or sell. If you're not necessarily in the military, all of their moving parts and things considered, 6, 7 years is pretty common in a place. So even though you're taking out a 30-year mortgage typically, 15 or 20 would be great, but most people do a 30-year mortgage, it's very uncommon that you're going to be there for 30 years. You will likely buy or sell or do something else in the meantime. So again, let's make sure that we find you a place that's fabulous as far as your interests and your priorities and what you want to do and where you want to be, but also is a really good investment so you have options. My goal is to create options for you, not restrict your options. And by being proactive and planning ahead and buying in an area that's very desirable, as long as it's a place where you want to live. Doesn't mean if it's desirable to somebody else but not desirable to you, then that's not going to work. So we want to find that balance in a place where it matches your priorities, you want to live there, and it's a fabulous investment. So if you needed to sell, even for something unexpected or something in life came up, then it's a good investment and a good prospect as far as selling in a relatively expeditious time frame. So looking for growth and growth trajectory, it's one thing if there's new neighborhoods that are being built and we can see like where the Walmarts are going and where all the other amenities are being built and kind of stay ahead of that line. Or if you're looking in town, well-established, 50, 60, 70-year-old neighborhoods that are all built out. Again, nothing, no right or wrong with either of those. It's just a matter of paying attention to that and looking at the velocity and the volume of properties that are selling in order to make sure we get you into a property that if you needed to sell it, even if you don't think you will, it will put you in the best and most strategic position to have options. Another tip reference demographic and ambiance is that you don't want to be the nicest house in a neighborhood with other homes that are kind of more dumpy or in not such great shape. If anything, you want to buy the house that is in the worst condition. Obviously, not if you don't want to buy a project. But if anything, you want to err on the side of buying a house where you can kind of bring up to the other level, where most of the houses around it are nicer than the house you're buying. Then you have equity there as you improve it over the years, maybe do some work either yourself or pay to have it done. Then you'll have much greater equity than buying like the nicest house that's already been refinished in a not so nice neighborhood. Not such a good equity move. The other component here is the family factor. You might not intend to have children or mother, father-in-law, anybody living with you, or grow your family as far as where you're going to live. But those things, like I say, life can change and those things can change unexpectedly. So it's good to plan for that to make sure that you have the room and the space necessary for any prospect of growth as far as family and the number of people that are going to be living at the house. And it's all about asking the right questions up front, because what we don't want is for you to buy a property and after the fact feel duped or surprised or like, hey, I wanted to do this at this property, or here's something I really enjoy and I can't do it here. We don't ever want you feeling that. So I want you to go in eyes wide open, no surprises, so you know exactly what you're buying and you can do exactly what you want to do. So the fifth and kind of semi-final, and there's lots of subcomponents here, but the semi-final component is the short list. Basically narrowing down geographically based on all the things we've talked about to figure out where you want to be. Now we can start looking at the specific lot and structure of the house itself, as far as where you want to live and what are your priorities as far as the house. It is my job explicitly to come alongside you, advocate for you, ask the right questions, and help you make these decisions. So once we determine generally where you want to be, now we're focusing on the stats and the details of the house and the structure itself. Reference how many bedrooms, minimum or maximum square footage, how many bathrooms, all the combination of those things. Are you averse to split level homes? How about split level entry homes? There's lots of different styles of houses depending on when they were built and what era they were and what was popular over the years. Houses that were built decades ago are very different than houses that have been built in the last 10 or 15 years. Contrasting lot size and orientation. Some people think they want an acre or two of space, but they don't necessarily want to afford that. And configuration and orientation is a big deal. I've seen really small lots, if they're super intentional as far as how they're orchestrated and strategic and how they're built, you don't, even though it's not a huge lot that you're on, which is a benefit because then you don't have a huge lot to care for either. Like a couple of acres of grass and weeds is a lot to care for. You may not want to do that. So you may want to be on a smaller lot if it's configured and orientated right and strategically, then you're not looking right out your window into somebody else's living room. Kind of view corridors is what you would call those. So it doesn't have to be a huge property. Some people are surprised that they can get what they want and get their needs met on a smaller property, i.e. less expensive and less work to take care of as well. So there's no conclusion here and there's no right or wrong. This takes me engaging with you directly, and that's what I love doing, is being an actual relationship with my clients. When you get me, you're working with me directly. You can reach me anytime. This is not a 9-to-5 job. So you get me directly on my cell phone. I don't delegate or distribute you to somebody else. A lot of realtors do that or work with big teams. All of a sudden, when you hired a realtor to work with them, but now you can't reach them and they're not responsive to you, I don't do that. I pride myself on having a relationship with every one of my clients, knowing them directly, knowing their priorities, their goals and needs, and having a direct relationship with them and being an advocate for them and serving them. So my contact information is below. I'm really excited to hear from you. This is who I am, whether I'm talking to this camera or whether I'm talking with you directly in person. My personality doesn't change depending on the setting or where I am. I have the highest integrity, advocacy, genuineness, and authenticity with every client. And I'm super excited by the prospect of working with you and being a resource for you. There's never any obligation with me, and I'm not a slick sales guy because I hate being treated that way myself. So I'm The Real Article. I'd love to have you engage. I'm excited to hear from you. Help me help you by guiding you through this process. Reach out to me below and let's connect.